Chloe, this time it's a story I heard in Korea. A truly bizarre and gruesome mystery about a notorious old miser who went to the gates of the underworld and back. A deal with the Grim Reaper. What do you think the price was? The main character is a man known as Hwang Yeonggam. Back in the 1960s, he was a miser so cheap he was second to none in his village. He'd stand guard to keep his son from using an extra square of toilet paper, scold his daughter-in-law for using too much laundry soap, and even butchered his son's hair himself because he couldn't stand to pay a barber. He kept all the money he had saved his entire life hidden under the floor paper of his room, and he slept on top of it. Then, one day, the wretched old miser, Hwang Yeonggam, fell ill with a plague that was going around. When his family tried to call a doctor, he locked his door from the inside, shouting, "Where do we have the money to call a doctor?" and suffered alone for days. In the darkness, he'd mutter to himself, "How do you think I saved this money? I will not die. I will never die." But contrary to his wishes, Hwang Yeonggam eventually breathed his last. But, Chloe, this is where the story truly begins. The spirit of Hwang Yeonggam, realizing he was dead, was being led by a grim reaper in black robes along a mounting path. As he walked the road to the afterlife, he was consumed by all sorts of regrets. "Oh, I should have eaten that sweet potato then. I should have told them about the money under the floor." He fretted that his family wouldn't find the money and would just wrap him in a straw mat and bury him. As he walked, lost in his worries, the river to the underworld appeared before him. At the thought that everything would end once he crossed the river, Hwang Yeonggam desperately clung to the Grim Reaper's leg. "Please, please, just let me live once more. It's too unfair to die having lived my whole life as a miser. If I go back, I'll be good to the wife I made suffer. I'll be good to my children. I'll live as a good person." The Grim Reaper looked down at him and asked in a low voice, "Could you then give me 3 candles? To that question, Hwang Yeonggam desperately replied, "Candles? Is that all? Just 3? I'll give you 1,000, 10,000. Not knowing what it meant, Hwang Yeonggam blindly promised. And in that moment, he awoke in his own body. He could hear his nephew's voice in his ear saying, "My goodness, why is our uncle's coffin so light?" He had miraculously come back to life in the middle of his own funeral. But Chloe, Hwang Yeonggam did not keep his promise to the Grim Reaper. As soon as he was back, he refused to return the condolence money people had given him, and he didn't share a single cent with his nephews who were struggling after their father, his brother, had passed away. He became a worse miser than before. However, he didn't spare any expense for himself. He bought all the sweet potatoes he couldn't eat before and bought expensive clothes. Then one night, he was suddenly reminded of his deal with the Grim Reaper. 3 candles. What on earth did that mean? Just in case, he started placing a single candle at every crossroads and corner in the village. And a few days later, something terrible happened. His brother's 2 sons, his own nephews, died suddenly in the same night for no reason. It was as if someone had come to collect their souls. Only then did Hwang Yeonggam understand. He realized that the 3 candles the Grim Reaper had spoken of were not actual candles. They were human lives. With his 2 nephews dead, there was only 1 candle left. Hwang Yeonggam trembled in fear. "Don't tell me the last one is my son." That very night, Hwang Yeonggam saw that the coal briquette fire in his son's room had weakened. Worried his son might be cold, he added more briquettes to the fire. It was one of the few kind things he had ever done for his son. But the next morning, his son was found dead, cold and stiff from carbon monoxide poisoning. The very fire his father had added to keep him warm had taken his life. After that, they say Hwang Yeonggam became a completely different person. He shared the money he had saved his whole life with his poor neighbors and began to live a life of atonement, cleaning the village streets every day. And strangely, from that day on, he never seemed to age, remaining a man in his 50s even after decades had passed. So, Chloe, what do you think happened? Did the 3 candles truly mean the lives of his nephews and son? And the reason Hwang Yeonggam no longer ages, is it that the Grim Reaper gave him a new lifespan equal to that of 1 candle in place of his own?